Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Game Ball Podcast stream. I'm your host, Mark, and we're here with the news hour. As a lot of us on the East Coast here are suffering through some really hot weather, and it's just starting. The next 2 to 3 days should be just as bad or worse. So, hopefully, you guys are staying cool. And as unfortunately Goat mentions in the chat, his air conditioner stopped working today and it is 97. I feel that pain. A lot of my not air conditioning stuff is self-inflicted. I think I've mentioned this many, many times on multiple streams and podcasts and stuff like that. And some people think I'm crazy. I live in like a first floor apartment. Slightly ground floor. Like, I get some advantage of a basement. But I have full-size windows, and it's basically like being on the first floor. But I have 2 trees to shade, so unless like next week when the temperature is almost 100, I will probably definitely have to put on my AC. But just the way my apartment cools, I don't need to do it in the low 90s, high 80s range. So yeah, 78% humidity, not good. Probably got a shit-ass dew point as well, making it worse. But yeah, so hopefully you guys have been staying inside playing some video games. I haven't been doing a whole lot of that, not as much as I wanted to. Essentially, as I tend to be a slight oversharer on this podcast, I was planning on playing a lot today and yesterday, but I made myself extremely tired this weekend, and because for some odd reason I couldn't go to sleep Friday night. It was like insomnia or whatever or something, and I was up till 4 in the morning just not doing anything. Like, it wasn't like when I did that for Expedition 33. I was actually doing something. I just couldn't go to sleep. I was just rolling around, getting up, just wasn't the heat or anything. It was just weird. But I had to get up at 6 because my niece had a softball tournament an hour away, and had an 8 o'clock game. So I got 2 hours sleep there. And then I came home, took a nap because we got done by noon, because thankfully she only had 2 games. But I was only able to get like an hour nap, maybe, because my cat kept bothering me throughout the time. And then, it's the main reason why Trails was canceled. So self-inflicted tired wounds here, and probably low on the totem pole compared to the parents that we have that listen to this podcast. But I did it to myself, and my body, going to be 40 soon, just didn't recover from it today. And I just basically, did chores around the house, but just didn't have the willpower. When I tried to sit and play The Legend of Mana, I just started doing knot-offs while playing, and I'm like, because it was like reading text, and I'm like, so I didn't play as much as I wanted to play this weekend, so I didn't even get enough to talk about it in this segment. But yeah, let me go through what I've been playing. God, I wish that my issue is, and this is also for those of you that have pets that might not have kids, the wake-up schedule, because you set them on a schedule with your work, is just the same. It's all on you to go to sleep early. Like, if I was like, I want to stay up till midnight and all, I got to remember, this little girl who you probably heard crying is ready to get up, get some food, and wants to know why you're not awake at 6 a.m. No matter when you go to sleep, no matter what day of the week. So it is on you to, So, yeah. I make sure her food bowl is full in the morning. She doesn't bother me outside of that. But that's my own fault for setting that expectation. So I wish I could sleep 11 hours, and this isn't like I could if I sort of shut the door. She might cry like that at the door, but I am as you might know, almost half deaf, so I could kind of make sure that I find a way not to hear her. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. Yeah, so the main thing I've been playing, so I didn't get too far. I just loaded it up and just read like the opening text of Legend of Mana, and I think it was Legends. Maybe it's something. It's one of the games I bought a while ago when it came out on Xbox, and I just thought I'd pop it in. I was looking for something different to play. But yeah, the plan was to play that. But outside of that, I played a lot of hockey. Because I was watching people podcast stuff, and video stuff on YouTube. You know, just having fun, just setting records there. Played a little bit more of a WNBA season and NBA 2K5. Hey, Go, thanks for the sub. Welcome 13 months. Enjoy your emotes. Welcome back to the Game Vault. And the other thing that I played is now on EA, FIFA is free, so I downloaded FIFA and have been playing that. So, you know, just sports, and then I was trying to find something that wasn't sports, and just couldn't find it. The main thing I've been playing is I played a little bit more Ball Cross Pit demo. I really do love that game. I was planning on playing some other demos, but for some reason Mina was working, and then all of a sudden not working. So I guess they pulled it. I thought it was going to be one of those that was going to hang around for a while, but did not. So I did not get to play it. But yeah, so Ball Cross Pit is one that I'd recommend if you like those kind of like roguelike card-based games, like deck builders, I guess you would say. But yeah, it's real fun. Make sure you have a good mouse, because there's a lot of clicking of the mouse. So if you're not set in a good position with your mice, you're gonna get tired quickly. Yeah, so I got through that. The only other thing, I just remembered what was the one thing that I played. Oh, I played a lot of Mario Kart 8 as just a chill thing. Getting through some more. I finished the 100cc thing. I don't know if I mentioned that. I started at 150. Yeah, just a little FOMO for Mario Kart World, essentially, is what happened there. Yeah, so that's all the stuff outside of stream. For stream, I have finished Jaws, finally. It took us 3 streams and almost 3 full streams to beat it. I believe all the episodes should be up on YouTube. I think I might have mislabeled the final one as part 2 as well. I'm going to check that after the stream. But yeah, we got a little lucky with the seashells. Got up to power level 4, I believe. And then I was able to concentrate with the help of Carrot. Carrot was there with me, along with Goat. Goat's been my spiritual backer in everything I've done on here. But Carrot came in and was just like, you know, just provided a zen for some reason, and I was able to beat it after that point. I don't know if they said anything in particular or anything, but we did beat it. I think it was more like kind of unintentionally shaming me that I had not beaten it yet. Might have been what happened. So, yeah, that game you can beat in 10 minutes, and they sold it at full price back in the 80s. So, you know, I shouldn't hear too much complaining from this generation about price of games. Yeah, so got through that, and then on Saturday played through the beginning of the 3rd chapter of Trails in the Sky. We got basically to the next town before I saved, because again, my energy just went after we took the first break, and we had spent that finishing the final side story, which I don't know if we were the right level to do that, and we kind of grinded it out and beat it pretty well. Um, but yeah, so we had some fun with that. That game's great. Once you get back in the swing of it, like it took me an episode and a half on the battle system, you start to sort of um, get it again, and it becomes fun, and you can start setting things up. I was still very Expedition 33 coded throughout that first playback 2 weeks ago. So yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Let me know on social media or in our Discord or in the chat here even what you guys have been up to playing. I can't wait because this week is Death Stranding 2. I am ecstatic and I cannot wait for it. So be sure to watch out for that. That will be Friday's stream. Just to do the a lot of Minecraft goat. Yeah, that sounds about right with me. It's like sort of like I should be playing other games, but then you just get to like some kind of comfort game. And I feel like Minecraft could be that kind of game as well. So a lot of Death Stranding coming up. I have no softball this weekend, so we might have like 4 to 5 streams of Death Stranding 2. We're going to do Friday night. And then Saturday, we'll start as early as I can and go as late as we can. And then I'll do trails at night. I'm going to try and not to lose track of trails this time around. I think it was because Expedition 33 and Trails were like too similar of a genre that I just was RPG'd out by the time I got to Saturday night. That's why we went on hiatus with that, but we're not going to do that with Death Stranding 2. And then Sunday we'll play as well, so be ready. A lot of Death Stranding come up. Then we have July 4th holiday, where for July 4th, after I get done Niece's softball, as soon as we're home, because we have 2 games, all Death Stranding, all weekend. We have a little break to celebrate the best holiday in July on coming up next Sunday, or the Sunday after. That's all and we're still doing Final Fantasy VI on Thursday. We're almost to the one of the best twists of all time coming up there. And then tonight we're going to be playing Ghostbusters 2 for the NES on Retro Roulette, so be on the lookout for that. And I'll announce it here. My Retro Roulette endurance run from here on out is for probably the rest of the year, I would imagine, because I'm not particularly good at these games. But we're going to be playing through the first 6 Mega Man games. So I'm going to start with Mega Man 1, a game I have never played. And then after that, we're going to go to 2. The 2, which I have beaten, but we'll beat again. And then I played 3, and we played 5 or 6 for this. So it'll be like not brand new experiences. I've seen all the games, but it'll check off a box. The first 6 games, I believe, are all the NES games. I believe so, and that's the way we'll do it. I'm still deciding if I should do it emulator, or I'm pretty sure I have the Mega Man collection on Switch. I'm going to double check that, because if I do, that might be the way to go on here. But yeah, so that's what's coming up, not this Monday, the Monday after, on the 30th. All right, so let's move on to... there's my mouse. Let's move on to the news. First up, Nintendo launches its first, as they say, opening salvo against piracy on Switch 2. They have made it so I believe it only bans people from online at the moment if they use the MiGSwitch on their consoles. Even though MiGSwitches could be used to just for games you own, but it can also be used for piracy. So They're basically just doing a wide shot here with this. For those who don't know, the MiGSwitch is a cartridge like flash drive thing. And basically you can load Switch ROMs onto it. So you can dump your ROM from your Switch cartridge, put it on this, and then you can have all your games on one cartridge. People are doing it for Switch. It's kind of a gray area in terms of piracy emulation. But people have been finding that they do put their MiGSwitches into their Switch 2. Nintendo is banning them from online, and you are not allowed to play with others, do the eShop, or any other online Nintendo services. So they have not bricked consoles yet, as I feel that would be a step too far, to be honest. But it is warning people not to do it, and there's been some high-level streamers, YouTubers, Redditors and stuff that have been warning against this, and some saying it's not even worth it to do it. So, yeah, Nintendo cracking down on that piracy. And the whole thing always comes up because they say in their end license agreement that you do not own the Switch or the game. So the old saying goes, if there's no ownership, then there's no piracy. So, or something like that. Next up, this is the Nintendo block. Limited Run Games was doing a Gex collection, and they said, asked Nintendo to pull it from the Switch eShop while it waits for backwards compatibility patch to go live. Limited Run said it had faced Switch 2 backwards compatibility issues with a number of its games originally released for Switch 1, and while a recent Switch 2 firmware update had improved the situation for the majority of its titles, Gex Trilogy was still impacted. The company had tried to solve the issue with a patch, and it is this patch that the developer is still waiting to be approved for public release. Limited Run said, since we do not have clarity on when Gex Trilogy on Switch 2 will be fixed in firmware, we submitted our own patch last week to correct the issue. Due to the Juneteenth holiday, patch approval this week is delayed, but we're expected to be able to issue the patch early next week. In the meantime, we have asked Nintendo to remove the game from the Switch 2 eShop. Thank you for your patience as we work with Nintendo to resolve these issues. They've also asked players to check and see if the other titles are now running as intended. For those of you that might have these games, it's Clock Tower Rewind, Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection, Tomba Special Edition, River City Girls Zero, A Boy and His Blob Collection, Rocket Knight Adventures, Shantae, Bill and Ted's Excellent Retro Collection, Extreme Sports, Trip World DX, Felix the Cat, and Rendering Ranger R2 Rewind. So if you guys have those games, Limited Run is asking you to check them to make sure they are still working. Next up, Nintendo it confirms that the signs that everybody saw on the tube in London was incorrect. That said that Metroid Prime 4 was out now. Obviously, it's untrue. And confirmed that the game still lacks an official release date. Nintendo spokesman said, when we can confirm that the out now message on the advert is incorrect, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch Edition are not yet available and are scheduled to be released in 2025. And then IGN says they've been able to verify that the advert currently remains in its place at the station as detailed in our original report. So one thing that I may be late to the party on, but I was partially under the thought that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was going to be Switch 2 exclusive, but it looks like it's going to be Switch 1, and then you're going to be able to upgrade it to Switch 2. That might be something I'm late to the party on. That might be out there, and I apologize for if that is true. But that was the first thing that grabbed my eye when reading this story. But also, it also makes me think that at some point, Metroid Prime 4 was a launch title for Switch 2, and for some reason it got delayed. So, yeah. Yeah, for those of you hoping that this was a sign that they were going to shadow drop Metroid Prime 4 at some point, that is not going to happen as of right now. I mean, it could happen. They could at Tokyo Game Show or Gamescom or something shadow drop it, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think this was just a mistake by the marketer, because it looks like in the ads, if you ever seen the original photos from the underground, it looks like the same exact ad as the Mario World one, except they just took out Mario, put in Metroid, but changed nothing else about the surrounding information. So, could just be an error, or it could be something that Nintendo didn't want getting out. Next up on Nintendo, they confirmed Pauline's age in Donkey Kong Bonanza, or Bonanza? Bonanza, right? Because it's not Bonanza. It's supposed to be like banana, so it'll be Bonanza. Bonanza. Okay. Hopefully Night Duck's still here and can confirm one way or the other. Leaving fans wondering whether it's a Super Mario Odyssey prequel and if Mario will appear as a potential villain. In the character profile on the Japanese website, Nintendo states that Pauline is a 13-year-old girl who loves to sing. She used to live above ground, but for some reason she was brought to the underground world and transformed into a rock. So that rock that you saw on all the marketing is Pauline, apparently. That was all probably shown at the Donkey Kong Direct that we did not watch, but yeah. So I only bring this story up. Okay. So I only bring this up because, and this is as somebody that enjoys the Legend of Zelda timeline, despite knowing how stupid it is. Nintendo and Miyamoto and all them, they don't care about the timeline of their games. I think the Zelda people found that it would sell books if they did it, so they did it. But I don't think there's going to be any connection between Bonanza and Odyssey. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I don't think so, because they don't really care about lore as deeply as you do. They'll keep the thinnest of connections together, but I just don't think they care as much as you do about that. And I'm saying you as the people that care about Donkey Kong lore. So just ride with it. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be a bad idea, but yeah. Yeah, so as Night Duck says, what? It's right there. Yeah, this also adds to the, I don't know if anybody was there for the Trails in the Sky, not this week, the week before, when basically, why are you gonna call out, damn? In the Trails in the Sky game, there seems to be like an obsession with 13-year-old in Japan in particular. I guess if you take all the anime and stuff like that, maybe that is an age that they, pick from. They had the 13-year-old girl in that thing basically get kind of hit on by the old guy in your party. Okay, then that makes a lot of sense. But doesn't make it any more crazy, but that's just a cultural thing. Yeah, you know. So I guess that's why they do 13 then, specifically. But yeah, so you're getting young Pauline here. That might be even better explanation than thinking real dirty thoughts about it, even though some of it could be dirty, to that segment. But I know you can't really see it fully behind my head, but Night Duck, and for the audio listeners, said, meaning Japanese media, a lot of the media is about middle schoolers because it is marketed to middle schoolers there. So, makes a lot of sense. Moving on to my number 2 game of 2025. No, I'm just kidding. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds reveals a Nickelodeon collaboration that adds SpongeBob SquarePants, Avatar, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guest characters. This game just keeps getting better and better for me. I love weird characters in kart racers, and this is pretty good. Yeah, it was announced at the Kids' Choice Awards. The trailer shows off SpongeBob, SquarePants, and Patrick racing in the paddy wagon. And there seems to be a Bikini Bottom track as well. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. I was a little worried they were just going to keep it in the Sonic world, which I think would be doing a disservice to the game, because there's not as much mainstream knowledge of Sonic characters as there is, Mario characters. So I'm glad that they're branching out. It's a way, like, grab the people that aren't affected. I think Shadow would love Krabby Patties. But I also think he would take money from Plankton to shut down the Crab Shack. I mean, man's a mercenary. He has guns. But yeah, going on. Yeah, I'm just glad that they're branching out and going to give us a variety of characters to play as. I'm waiting for the human character. Because in the last game, or the game I love, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Transformed, Racing Transformed, they had Danica Patrick in the game. So I'm wondering if let's get a Lewis Hamilton in there or something. So for those F1 heads out there. All right, next story. Capcom on Thursday is going to reveal more of Resident Evil 9 and Pragmata at its showcase. I may talk over this. I'm not 100% sure. Probably not. But I'll see. It depends on if I hear good things about it beforehand. But yeah, so be sure that is 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday the 26th. It'll last about 40 minutes. Capcom said to expect the latest news on the company's upcoming games, as well as interviews with the developers. Specifically, Monster Hunter Wild fans get details on Title Update 2, which is set to release at the end of the month. Tim Robinson would be a good human addition to Sonic Racing. Yeah, so for those of you Capcom fans, you have a direct of sorts, or what are they calling it, a showcase, to look forward to. Next up, definitely didn't see this coming news. Sony and Bungie have delayed Marathon and reveal new release date this fall. They said, through every comment and real-time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken the heart, and we know we need more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After discussion with our dev team, we made the decision to delay the September 23rd release. The Marathon delay follows criticism revolving around Marathon's alpha test held in April. The conversation around Bungie's new take on live service extraction shooter formula has been heated, to say the least. Um, yeah, so Herman Holst addressed the feedback last week, calling the fans' response varied. Um, and the company had no intentions of doing the same thing they did with Concord earlier. Um, yeah, yeah. So they're gonna work on it to make it better. Hopefully, they give credit to the artists for the art they stole for that game. Um, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense from everything I heard about Marathon. Uh, is the shooter fans don't like the story, and the story fans don't like the shooting. So, got to figure out how to marry those two, or just go after one of them. But yeah, I also hope they credit the artists whose art they stole for a lot of the stuff in the alpha test. Yeah, so for those of you looking to play Marathon in September, you'll just have to wait. It'll probably come out, if it's just a short delay, probably like November, I would think. So in Claire Obscure Expedition 33 news, fans are hoping for future improvements, quick save photo mode, and more swimsuits for Gustav, which is funny. The developer said they're currently exploring a wide range of future improvements. In a social media post, the team said these improvements, from accessibility features to new content and all sorts of bits and bobs, we're actively assessing, and will also include expanded localization options. While we don't have specific timelines or confirmed languages to share just yet, we wanted to let you know that it's very much on our radar. So if they do DLC, we are going to be on it here. But I am interested to see. I started a playthrough on my computer, and I played a little bit in French. So if this comes with new stuff, that would be awesome. I just want to see. I pumped up all the graphics. I just want to see what it looks like with like unlimited frame rate and all that good stuff on here, and not playing it through a preview window. So, yeah, this game, we're gonna be hearing a lot about this game throughout the year. I believe they're not gonna drop the ball, in my opinion. In the weirdest news of the week, and if you would have started, before I get into the story, I mean, for the video people, you're seeing this, but the other people, you're not. I guess that 99% of our audience, if I told you there was somebody who changed things in the game because he was worried about it being too good, I think we would get 99% of people saying Hideo Kojima. And they would be right. Apparently, Hideo Kojima made significant changes to Death Stranding 2 because playtest thought it was too good. And he doesn't want his work to be mainstream. This got me even more excited about our stream of the game, because it means it's going to be even wilder than I was first anticipating. The revelation comes from Woodkid, who does the game soundtrack. He said to Rolling Stone, he reflected on Kojima opening up about the problem of having players like Death Stranding 2 too much. That means something is wrong, and we have to change something. God. This man needs to be studied. The key moment where we had a discussion probably halfway through when we were doing the game, where he came to me and said, we have a problem. Then he said, I'm going to be very honest. We have been testing the game with players, and the results are too good. They like it too much. That means something is wrong. We have to change something. And he changed stuff in the script and the way some crucial stuff happens in the game because he thought his work was not polarizing and not triggering enough emotions. According to Kojima, if everyone likes your work, it means it's mainstream. It means it's conventional. It means it's already pre-digested for people to like it. I don't want that. I want people to end up liking things they didn't like when they first encountered it, because that's where you really end up loving something. Yeah, so... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but... but that opening headline of... Kojima changes script because game was too good is just... You go... You don't even get upset by it unless you're already predisposed to not liking Kojima. If you like him, like myself, you just look at that and go, well, fucking course, sure. That makes me more excited for the game that he said that. Because that means there's going to be wild shit in the game. So, yeah. His statement's... I agree with his statement. You know, like... You know, you have to... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Night Duck on this. I respect it. I just laughed before I read the story. And was just like... You know, it's just because of his reputation more than anything that it made me laugh. But when you actually hear him explain himself, you understand. Like, he's not insane. You know, he might be a little, like, out there creatively at times and stuff like that. But he's not... I think he cares deeply about what he puts out there. Whether you like that or not, or you think he's arrogant, or you think he's an asshole, or whatever, that's on you, and you're free to have that opinion. But I don't think anybody can say that he doesn't care about the work. And this sentence, this statement shows that he was worried about making too safe of a video game and wanted to, you know, elicit more emotions. And I respect that. He could have just put out the game that everybody loved. It would have sold tens of millions of copies. Everybody would have loved it. He would have got Game Awards and, you know, all that. But it wouldn't have been creatively fulfilling for him. And as Night Duck said, I respect that. 100%. And it makes me even more excited for this week. Next up, story for Night Duck. Lies of P Overture DLC patched to rebalance and reduce monster difficulty after complaints it was too hard. Lies of P has been patched to reduce monster difficulty and adjust stats for some of the field monsters you encounter in your first playthrough. Said the team didn't think Souls-like games like Lies of P should have difficulty options, and it shipped without any, but he has since had a change of heart, saying, "We wanted to make sure a wider audience of players could play the game." Similarly, players have complained about the DLC's intended difficulty, Legendary Stalker. There have been so many comments, both for and against the DLC's difficulty spike, that the Lies of P subreddit has had to merge them all into a mega thread to stop the community from being overwhelmed by complaints. It prompted developer Neurosy to acknowledge that some areas, or Neowitz, sorry, acknowledged that some areas did not turn out quite as intended. Hey, Goat, welcome back. I did not cover the Helldivers news. I didn't see it specifically. Did it happen in the last week? I'm just trying to... Yeah, you can... Feel free to brief everybody on it. That's why I love doing this live here. I'll gladly talk about it. Yeah, Yeah, just talk about this. Yeah. Yeah, just going through what Night Duck said about Liza P here, because he's our Liza P expert. Um, or I should say, jokingly, Liza P correspondent. Every Souls-like drops this patch after launch, because otherwise the hardcore no-lifers review bomb it, saying it's too easy. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, and then... oh, great. So that they finally dropped that lockout because of the PSN login, correct? So now everybody can... or is it the opposite? Did they lock out 133 countries? Because I remember they had countries on lockout because of the PSN thing. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That's real nice. That was the stupidest thing to ever do, to be honest with you. You get a game so popular, and then you want to connect it, even if it wasn't supposed, like, should have been from the beginning. And then you drop that and you stop people from being able to buy it because Sony wanted to see their things up. Yeah, because Sony wanted to see their numbers go up, and then they realized that that's not going to happen. Yeah, it very much felt like a shareholder thing that I think people finally... I'll find the story. I'll talk about it in full next week. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes after I find a group of stories, because, like, heading into about an hour here, I kind of got in the rhythm of, knowing how many stories would cover the hour. But that is great news, Goat. For those of you who don't know, Helldivers 2, when it was released, was available to everybody. But there was this small thing that they had mentioned that you would need PSN to be able to play it. That's the PlayStation Network account. But it wasn't there at launch. I think like 2 to 3 months after launch or something like that. Sony made them put in a update that made it required, and by requiring PSN, it locked out, as they said, about 133 out of the 137 countries that it was for sale in, because of some law in those countries about forcing subscription services or something. I'll look more deeply into it to talk about it next week, but basically the requirement of PSN made them unable to be sold in those countries, and they last weekend decided to lift that, so now everybody can buy and play Helldivers 2. After the big wave of everybody loving it is gone, they finally realized, oh no, we got to make money. So, yeah. Anyway, great story for Helldivers fans out there. And finally, our last two things are going to be Microsoft related. So, as we do on this podcast, and probably even more important now, we mentioned that BDS still has a boycott on Microsoft products, including Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Game Studio games, basically games on Xbox, because of the Azure technology that I believe is used by the Israeli government. So be aware of that. We support the boycott, but I do still kind of have to report on the news. I try to not do it, but, it just... things have come out that I know some people aren't going to pay attention to it, and, I want to at least tell them about it. But I also wanted to remind them every single time we do it about the boycott. So we'll have that disclaimer from here on out. Microsoft confirms first-party next-generation Xbox consoles, announced deal with AMD, and promises full backwards compatibility with your existing Xbox library. This is just on par with everything they've been doing with the handheld and all that. Just play anywhere, all that stuff. No surprise about the backwards compatibility thing. But yeah, the partnership with AMD is probably the big news here. because I think NVIDIA was the one they went with before or previously. Tom can probably correct me there. But they are targeting a 2027 release window for the new Xbox, which would make it 7 years, right? It's 2021 those came out, so I'm thinking they're saying 2027 window, so I'm thinking 2028. So yeah, 7 years between consoles, which is about normal. The last generation was the weird one. So that went extra long. Yeah, so look out for that. And then the Xbox Game Pass lineup coming if you still have Game Pass, again, part of the boycott. But if you're still paying for it and have it, or you're just playing out the string now that you've heard about the boycott, you can get Star Trucker, Wild Frost coming in June. This is the Wave 2 lineup for June. Star Trucker, Wild Frost, Rematch, which is the soccer game. Online 3-on-3 soccer game or something. Volcano Princess against Storm. Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. Call of Duty World War 2. Little Nightmares 2. And Rise of the Tomb Raider. For those of you that have to beat games before the end of the month, be aware that Arcade Paradise, Journey to the Savage Planet, My Friend Peppa Pig, Robin Hood Sherwood Builders, SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2 are leaving. Yeah, so that is that news. Yeah, so that'll do it. Yeah, as to finish off on a better story, as Goat says, it's great that Helldivers 2 thing is happening, because as he said, they need more reinforcements for democracy. So yeah, just be glad, if you for some reason are listening to this podcast and in one of those countries that was held back, you can go grab it now. So that'll do it for us. We'll go back to Big Mark here. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll be back tonight with Ghostbusters 2 for the NES, which is our Retro Roulette Game Club Game of the Month. We do basically 2 separate podcasts now. I do the News Hour every week to just talk about all the news, even the small, tiny things, and sometimes fun news to bring up, like the Paulina Age thing, and all that stuff that we wouldn't cover on Podcast Prime. Podcast Prime is our regular podcast. That's me, Tom, and hopefully we'll get Jen back at some point, where we talk about the 2 to 3 biggest news stories of the month. If we do get Jen back full time, I may let Tom and Jen decide what they want to talk about, because I'm here every week, so it might be better for them to choose the topics they want to talk about, just because they're the ones that have the limited time to look into all this stuff. So, yeah, I think that's what we might do going forward. But for now, it's a collaboration, me and Tom, to try and figure it out. But yeah, I think it might be better to leave me out of that process, and just let me know what it is so that I can pull up anything I've had on it before. But that is a monthly podcast, so we'll be back sometime in mid-July, probably the 18th at the latest, because I have the final tournament for my niece's softball on the 25th. So, yeah, I'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, eating some Permani Brothers on that date. So that is a monthly podcast. So be sure to check that out. That's on all podcast services on the same feed. It'll be on the YouTube channel, everything there. And then on Thursday we have the Final Fantasy VI. And then Friday will be Death Stranding 2. And then on Saturday will be Death Stranding 2 and Trails in the Sky. Sunday will be Death Stranding 2 and the News Hour. If you were here for Expedition 33, you know how it works. When a new game comes out, if I stream it, It's going to be played the way I play it. So we may play until 3 in the morning sometimes. We may start at 9 a.m. Just make sure you have the notification bells on Twitch so you know when I go live for that if you're really interested in following along with my playthrough of Death Stranding 2. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. We will see you tonight if you're listening to when this goes up. Or catch you on the VODs on YouTube. So either way, thank you guys again. Thank you, Night Duck. Thank you, Goat. Thank you, Meta Militia. And we'll see you next time. Bye!